Just talk about that.
So nice to be back. What's up? In a full room. My friend over here, we got off on the wrong floor and we went to another convention hall and there was no one there. And that's it for me on the Comic-Con circuit, I guess. But no, this makes me feel much better.
The little things that keep you grounded.
Yes, exactly.
Well, welcome. I'm sorry if I can't see some of you because we have this giant pillar right here. Yeah, so. Yeah, we can move over. Yeah.
No, but then more people.
Then they can't see. Yeah.
Maybe I'll just bounce around. Right? Or you do like a TED talk and I'll just walk.
Yeah. Do we have time to take out this whole pillar? Just do some remodeling? Yeah. Welcome back. Like I said, we're going to take some audience questions. But first off, okay, so of course we're heading into Gotham season 5, and this is going to be the final season of Gotham.
Season of Gotham, yeah.
You're back in production for this.
We're in the middle of episode 4 out of 10, and I was shooting all day yesterday.
Yeah. Well,
crazy.
we will not ask you about that. But I will ask you about is it satisfying for you as an actor, because sometimes you don't know when the show is going to get renewed, if it's going to get renewed. I remember one time we were talking, you were literally on the wire about whether or not this thing was coming back.
That was just this last season.
Yeah, it was heading into 4, I think, yeah.
We sort of base how we're doing off of like the scripts, and it's like, we ended season 4, spoiler alert, on the cliffhanger. but yeah, and so we fully expected everyone in the crew, the producers, everyone was like, see you in 3 months, don't worry about it. And then it got down to that final week, and all of a sudden these articles coming out, like Gotham is getting canceled. Like there was all this speculation. I was at another convention, meeting lovely people like yourselves, talking about the show, and then that afternoon, we get news that, there's a rumor going around that if they recast Lethal Weapon, then that means Gotham is canceled. And I'm like talking to people, and all of a sudden I get the news alert. Lethal Weapon is recast, and I just, and someone's standing like right in front of me, being like, "I love the show. I can't wait for more episodes." And then there aren't any more episodes.
Hate to break it to you.
Yeah, I know, right? And then I did, and then her face was like, and I was like. But luckily, someone came to their senses, up above. I don't know what happened and how it all works out, but like, we were blessed with, we wished it had been more, but the fact that it at least 10 episodes to bring this show to a satisfying conclusion is just such a blessing. I mean, it would be like, I used this metaphor before, but it would be as if someone just unplugged the television. Right? Just like, it's like, and everything goes down, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, So anyway, we're just really grateful. And let me tell you, we are pulling out all of the stops. Like everything is going down. We started this season at 10, and we're just going, higher and higher and higher.
Well, and again, we can't talk about plot points, but we have seen a photo of Oswald's face painted on a building. And my question is, do you like your face on the side of a building, or do you like it more in portrait form? Because you've had both on this show. You've had like the best vanity projects of like on this show.
I know. Well, let me clarify and be an annoying actor and say, I like Penguin's face anywhere. My own face, not so much. But, particularly I have that little, that cognitive.
Yes, yeah.
Don't really have to acknowledge it,
Well, the painting was pretty good.
This show is endless surreal experience. It's unreal. Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and take an audience question. Okay. Again, do we have a room mic?
You're just gonna have to take deep breaths.
Okay.
Should we do a warm up together?
I know. Okay, I don't know how to do this. But okay, sure. I saw your hand go up first. What's your question?
Saw you last time. Great to see you again. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for coming back.
The show, love your character.
I just wanted to ask you, when is the penguin gonna fatten up and, get him?
All right. Before you answer, can you guys hear that in the back? Okay, so the question was, which he probably can't answer, I don't know, but when is the penguin gonna fatten up? I don't know, you guys should start bringing sandwiches to his table.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you because I went to France and I came back and I feel you just made me feel a lot better about myself after a week eating cheese. But yeah, in the time period that we are shooting the show, unfortunately, he will not get fat. We'll be, working in little things about it, and I'm sure you've already seen, little relationships to food, ever since the pilot, of course, and so there's more of that coming in. What you definitely will see this year is the more of the iconography of the penguin, if I'm using that word. Things that you think of the character, we're gonna start bringing those in as we go along, and the little I know, I'm trying not to read too much ahead because it's an emotional experience coming to the end of this kind of ride. Feels a lot, it feels like the end of graduating from school. It's like, you make these friends, make these relationships, you go to the same building every day, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, all of that is gonna change come November. So my whole approach this year has been, I don't wanna read ahead. I just want to stay in the moment. I'm trying to absorb every second that I can with these amazing people and with this incredible character. So I don't know very much, but again, the little pieces we're going to start working through so that I think you'll all be really happy.
Yes.
By the end of it.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So since I did front row up here, I'm going to go over there and go deep back. With the Wonder Woman tiara. Hi. How are you?
Hi. Favorite season of Gotham. It really doesn't feel like a season to me, and I think also when you guys see these last 10 episodes, and then also hopefully people will go back once it's finished, go back to the beginning and just go straight through and treat it like a 98-hour movie. That's kind of what I'm hoping, in the sense that it really, especially after season 1, we just started making it more of a serialized story so that the stories blended into each other, so that things that happened in episode 2 carried into episode 3, 4. It was more, and I'm sure you saw when you watched, there was a change there. And so once that happened, it all just sort of feels like, it all just sort of is melded into one incredible experience. But again, I will say there's something very special about these 10 episodes. It's because they're coming to an end, and we're launching these characters into the place where you all know them from, what you all think of when you think of these people, and I think I'm really excited about it, and I will also say too, we're just on episode 4, but the amount of emotion that's real, that all of us as actors and not just actors, the crew, the directors, the designers, every single person, there is so much heart going into these episodes because we've carried this story with us for 5 years, and now, again, to give it the justice it needs, we're all putting all of our spirit into every moment, and so I think, really probably at the end of it, the last season is going to be probably the most special to me, I would say.
Yeah.
As a whole season. Yeah, thanks for your question.
Did you, as an actor, when they were sort of kind of tinkering with the formula from season 1 going into season 2, and it became clear that they're going to let the freak flag fly. But I mean, that can also be scary because it's like, oh my God, I'm on this show, is it going to go off the rails? Did you have any kind of trepidation about it, or did you fully embrace it right from the start?
I really embraced the change from the beginning, just because it really felt like we were going into a more character-driven story than something that was. It was like the characters were driving the story, the main characters were driving the story, as opposed to the people coming in affecting them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It was like, we were the ones who were pushing it along, and it didn't feel as segmented, or here's the Balloon Man episode, and then here's the other episode, you know what I mean? It all just started to come together, and we felt we were driving the ship, and that's, what I think made the show took the show to the next level. You know.
Yeah. All right, let's take one from deep back there. Oh gosh. All the way in the back. It's really hard to do this.
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah. The young gentleman with the glasses on. I think your hand is up, right in the back. Yeah. You. Yes.
What were your thoughts when you read that you're going to help Butch right after you killed him?
Wait, what's that?
Say that again.
What were your thoughts when you read in the script that you're going to help Butch and then kill him right after?
No.
Did everybody hear that? Like, okay, so this is another example of the writers being a lot more ahead. Maybe why I should read ahead, but when it came down, when I found out that that was what season 4 was culminating in, was, you know, Penguin's murder of Butch, I was completely taken aback, and I wasn't expecting it at all. Like I was as surprised as anyone else, and yeah, I don't know. It's like people ask like what the hardest thing about the job is, and I will say, because I've done it a couple times on the show, is like killing off your coworkers. I know a lot of people have jobs where they're like, oh, that sounds actually really awesome. In my case, no. It's really, you know, as someone who was a struggling actor for a very long time, and also someone who has been killed off a show as well, I understand, you know, how that feels, and you know, it's show business. It's how the characters go. It's how the story goes, and you know that going into it. But at the same time, it's hard. It's difficult. You know, you're saying goodbye to someone that you were seeing every day. And I don't know. When I read that, I was shocked, and then I was sad, and then I was like, okay, I have to give this the dignity and the respect it deserves, because Drew is he's a really wonderful guy. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know.
Thanks. But there's a cut scene for season 4 on the DVD where you're having this conversation with Sophia about I try to see the very best in people right up until the time that I kill them. And it was just sort of like a really illuminating, I mean, it was funny, but it was also sort of a revealing kind of scene and conversation from Oswald. Does that sort of sum up the character for you?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, you know, he's a survivor, and he's been on, you know, he's been so close to death so many times, and you know, I think he knows that ultimately, I think that's where we're going with the character, is that, you know, there is a human person underneath there. There is a beating heart who has compassion and empathy, but unfortunately, because of his circumstances and where he's from and where he lives, Gotham City, that is slowly being figuratively and literally beaten out of him. And so, you know, and that's the story that we're telling. You know, we're launching this character, we're showing how somebody can start off, you know, as a human being who cares and has feelings and empathy, to someone who becomes a supervillain, a monster. And really, for him, it's being an opportunist, and it's how he survives. So
yeah. All right. Okay, I'm going to go front row right up here. Hi, young lady with a blonde wig.
Hi.
Hi.
I adore
Stand
you,
up.
right?
Hi, I adore you too.
Okay, so my question is, so I know that they released some of the names for the episodes, and there's one based on Penguin and one on Bane. So are we going to have any interactions with Penguin and maybe any future villains? For the next
So
one?
I'm going to be a bad cop here and jump in and say he probably can't answer that because that's speaking to future storylines.
Okay.
So
All I can say is I hope so, because every time we have a new villain, especially one like Bane, who is coming in, and we're also introducing Magpies here, which is really exciting. But again, like anytime he interacts with, you know, these characters, it changes him and it makes his character, you know, more interesting. It gives him something to overcome. And I think that's part of like, you know, getting deeper into the character, is how he's affected by these other incredible characters that are in the Batman universe. Yeah.
What about Bruce? Are you going to have another interaction with him at least?
Oh,
Like, as Batman?
Again, I don't read ahead, and you know, he, I will say, Bruce and Penguin are sort of on opposite ends of Gotham City as we start season 5. I don't know what's coming, but I would hope that there would be, yeah. I mean, and if there's not, then raise hell. So.
Yeah, especially with like how much David has like grown and evolved. Like, I mean, physically he's grown up, but also like how much of an actor that kid has like become. Like,
can we give it up for David?
Yeah. Like,
it's similar to what you said about the character and how he, becomes, more intelligent and he becomes richer of a character based on the supervillains around him and the people he interacts with. I become a better actor because of the amazing actors that I work with. And David, even though he's, years younger than I am, he, from day one, from the very first read-through of the script, he brought it in a way that I've never, you rarely see in any actor, young or old, and it's just been a revelation to watch him grow up, and I'm just so excited for what's to come for David, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go sort of, I gotta go for the luchador. Hi, what's your question?
So Robin,
Yeah.
it's so honored to meet you.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
I'd like to ask 2 questions.
Yeah, please go.
Alright, so my first question is, what was it like being the Penguin? And the second question is, who did you love working with the most on the show?
Okay, well, I'm gonna say, what it's like being the Penguin is surreal, incredibly validating, just because like, again, I struggled for a long time, and this was my very first pilot that I ever booked, and I'm getting up there, and it was the very first pilot I booked, the first series regular role that I ever had, and to have it be a character that's been around for almost 80 years now is just an incredible honor, and also like a testament. I'm gonna get sappy here, but a testament to like if you really believe in yourself and in your talents, and if you really work on it and you stick it out, people will see it. Like it honestly happens. I truly, truly believe it. So like, don't give up. Don't give up. Anything you can do to stick it out, it's so that you'll find your way. So anyway, that. And what was the second thing?
The second question is, who did you love working with the most?
Oh gosh, okay, who did I love? I loved working on, there's 2. Carol Kane as my mother, and Paul Rubens as my father. Can you I am the generation that grew up on Pee-wee's Playhouse. I watched him every Saturday. You're nodding your head, you were there with me, we're sitting there watching. Like, when I was a kid, and I'm just talking to the youngs right now, like, you may not know now, but like, Pee Wee Herman, there were 3 people in the world. Well, no, there were like, I won't put a number to it, but like, Pee Wee Herman was up there with Michael Jackson, the Pope, the President of the United States, Aretha Franklin, legendary, one of the most famous people you can imagine, and then all these years later, having played my father is just unbelievably surreal. And let me tell you, he's hilarious. He's a good, gentle, tender-hearted person. He was supposed to be here this weekend. I love him. He just had a birthday, so if you go on his Instagram, send him a happy birthday. And then to talk about Carol, like I don't think I've ever worked with more pure of a spirit of someone. She showed me, I will say, what it means to be a true artist in the sense that what she does, she doesn't read her own hype, she's not on social media, she goes in, she creates beauty, she puts it out into the world, and she leaves it for all of you to enjoy, maybe to not enjoy, to go back to leave alone, to criticize, and that's her gift. Like she does it, and it's from a pure place of just creativity, and just a pure spirit that she teaches me every day about that. So yeah, those 2 are my answers. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Let me go over here. The first person I saw was you're wearing something on your hand. Looks like you got a yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Wait. Let me grab the person behind you, and then I'll move right up to you. Okay. Hi.
I was wondering how it felt to be back in that place where, like, you're really deranged but trying to have a good time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. For some reason, I keep getting typecast that way. There are definitely similarities. I will say there is one fundamental difference, though, is that Julian, the character from Would You Rather, never had empathy, never had a soul, never struggled. He is like the epitome of, I don't know if you guys have read about this guy. Well, there was a term coined maybe a couple of years ago called affluenza. You know, like someone actually tried to use that. Some spoiled kid did something awful and tried to use that as an excuse. And I think that was Julian's, condition, if it were one. Whereas Oswald, again, I think if things had gone right from the beginning, he would be, a kind person. I mean, he would still be probably cunning and maybe a little manipulative, but it'd be coming from a good place. For a good place. But yeah, no, thank you.
And then the other young person that stood up.
Yes. Hi.
I wanted to ask what you would consider the biggest challenge of taking on a role like the Penguin.
The biggest challenge of taking on a role is, like the Penguin, would be, I don't know how to say it, like to be able to stay away from the hype and the noise, because I do believe that if you start listening to it too much, if you pay too much attention, it muddies the waters. It gets in the way of creative expression. And so, and I will say when the show started, it was incredibly exciting. And I knew my life had changed, but it was really, really terrifying at the same time. I said this to someone else an hour ago. Like, when I envisioned my career, I envisioned being, that guy in that thing. You know what I mean? Like a character actor, like you imagine like Charles Durning, or, like those guys who J.K. Simmons is an example. Now he's a character actor, but who's now, incredibly successful. But yeah, that's what I envisioned my career to be. And then, my first series regular job, my first pilot, turns into being this major character that everyone has heard about, and I'm following in the footsteps of two legendary American actors, Burgess Meredith and Danny DeVito. It was really scary. There were a good couple months there where I had a hard time, having a lot of anxiety came into play. And so, keeping my mind straight, keeping it about connecting with people and not, keeping myself open, has been a big struggle. But here we are, and I think I'm okay.
Yeah, and now
Thank
you're like part of that legacy now. I mean, let's face it, you have now made a mark, but it's gotta be scary to oh crap, now I gotta do it again.
Yeah, right. Not F it up. Yeah.
Yes, sir, with the red shirt and the beard. Yes.
Hey.
So I have a question for you. If you're a character, Sam, that got killed off from The Walking Dead,
Yes.
if that was the Penguin instead of Sam, would you have gotten out of that?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good one. It's interesting. I wonder how Penguin would do in the zombie apocalypse, and I think probably not well because he can't run there. So, and then also you look at The Walking Dead, and pretty much, I'm just gonna say every character on that show is a badass, because otherwise how would they have survived, physically. So I think it would have been difficult for him, but at the same time, I could see him carving out a niche, somewhere, Terminus, he could give an appetite for that kind of stuff.
I see what you did.
If I move to the middle, then I think I can see.
Here.
No, there we go. Let's just sit really close together.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, Riddler hat, hi.
Hey, hi.
Hello, I have two questions.
Please.
What is your favorite Cobblepot moment of all time? And second, would you ever want to be a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race?
Let me go to number two. Duh. And actually, the really saddest thing is that they actually did reach out to me. I think it was maybe 2 seasons ago, because they knew I was doing press, and it was and that new season had just come out, and I was like, I'm a big fan of that, obviously. And so yeah, and they had reached out, and they were like, they really want you to do it. They shoot in LA, I was shooting in New York, and of course, stupid me tells everyone, like the second I got the call, I was like, I'm a judge. I'm gonna be, and you know, all my queen friends were just like, girl, you know, like freaking out. So, but it didn't happen. But hopefully in the future, you know, I think that show has legs. You know, since 4:15. It's been a lot of this, folks. Sorry. No, but yeah, what was a favorite Nick Cobblepot scene? Well, no, I'm just gonna say we haven't shot it yet. We just had the table read for episode 5 of season 5, and my favorite Nick Cobblepot scene is in episode 5 of season 5.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I know, I'm sorry. Of the ones that are existing, I will say I really loved the one in season 4 when it all sort of came full circle. We were on the pier and we made an agreement to never go on that cursed pier again. It's a real pier in the East River, and let me tell you, when you're shooting in January, I mean, I'm in Canada, what am I talking about? So, yeah, but that one I would say, yeah. You know, the resolution in that moment I really loved, so.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's a young person with a red hat.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
What's up, buddy?
First of all, I would like to say I'm a huge fan of you.
Thank you so much, man.
My question is, in season 3, when the Penguin had a crush on the Riddler,
Uh-huh.
how did it make you feel that you were kind of, well, in love with a boy?
That must have been one of my favorite questions of all time. Thank you for that. Okay. So the first part was, or was it just one question?
I think it was just one question, but he's a big fan. Yeah.
You're a big fan. That wasn't a question.
But you can say it again.
How did I feel about it? I felt that I was actually really excited about it because I thought it was a really, it made sense that is where that character was going. Because if you think back to before that, the real, again, I've said this before, the real story of Penguin is someone who loses love, where love is ripped away from him every chance he gets. And so, I thought, this is someone who's so desperate for any sort of connection with anyone that he can trust, that he can respect. And unfortunately, because he's been damaged over the years so much, when he finally has a connection to someone, he didn't know how to feel about it, he didn't know how to do the right thing, and he ended up, sabotaging the entire thing. But again, I will say that I thought that was a really natural human place for Oswald to go. And I also have to say, even though it's a supervillain, I thought I do feel like any sort of queer representation out there, especially in network television, is really important these days. And I also, again, I will say too that what Penguin was going through is something a lot more complicated than just one word can say, like queer or whatever. You can't really classify it that way. But just the fact that we took the character in that direction, I thought for me it made a lot of sense and it didn't feel exploitative, and I'm very proud of that. So thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You've got a camcorder in your hand. That's exciting. You're gonna film something. What you got?
Hey, Robin.
Hey, man. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks.
Good.
If you had an opportunity to read for any other character on Gotham, who would you have chosen and why?
It wouldn't be a character that's been on the show because, again, our show is perfectly cast. There's absolutely no one I can think of, I can think of in the world that can play these characters better than the people that are playing them on our show. So I couldn't take that from anyone. But if it was let's just say if I got really fit, if I actually really committed to something in my life, I would want to play Robin. I think that would be amazing. Kind of appropriate. Well, I got the black hair still.
Which version of Robin would you go? Would you go with the elf shoes and the trunks, or would you go
nipples on the suit?
Yeah. All right. Okay, I'm trying to find a zone that I missed. I'm gonna go deep, deep back. I see a person with a blue sleeve, looks like blonde hair. Yes. I can't see what you're dressed as, but
Hi. Yeah, totally. Yeah, moving on. I believe. Repeat that last part, sorry. Yeah, I mean, so the second part was like, do I ever get creeped out when I'm working with like any of the other villains? I mean, yeah, it's impossible not to. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I was just talking about this yesterday on set. Actually, I don't know if I was talking or I was eavesdropping. It's probably not. But there was a conversation going on about like, how, they do studies and like, if, like, for the example was like, if a marathon runner the night before goes through the race in their head, they actually, like, all of their levels, like the levels of adrenaline and cortisol and all of that, the body can't really tell the difference between the real thing and the fake thing. And so there are a lot of times where we're doing something very intense and very twisted, and and I'll walk away from it being like, feeling like I just actually went through something, even though it was all safe and nothing, no animals were harmed in making Gotham. But yeah, it does get, because we want it to be that way. We want it to be real. We want it to feel genuine. And as an actor, you want to get as close to that line as you can go without losing your mind or being disrespectful. So yeah, it definitely happens. And then the first part was what?
with your short film, moving
short
on,
film.
and just the difference.
The difference, thank you for saying that. That's how I feel. I feel that makes you feel great because again, like, I would like to think that there are more crayons in the crayon box I can color with and like more things I can do and people ask me a lot like, what do you see next for you? And I have no expectations except for that I want it to be different. I want to show, a different human being in the world, and hopefully I'll have the chance to do that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, that was deep back, so let's go right up front.
Can't get more front than that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even see you. Sorry, good call. Thank you. Hi.
My question is regarding The Walking Dead.
Yes.
You had an extremely disturbing ending.
Yeah.
So how difficult was that to film, and how long did that take to film?
How difficult was the finale of The Walking Dead for Sam? If your second part was how long did it film? It was really only about, I would say, like 5 hours or something. It didn't take long at all. And at that point, I had already known that I was going to Gotham, and so I wasn't. And also on The Walking Dead, they don't tell you, they don't tell you if you're coming back or if you're not. And I had no idea until they called me and they were like, "We want to bring you back. You're gonna die." You're the first to die in season 5, and I was like, "Okay, that's good. Okay, keep talking." And they were like, "Yeah." And just the fact that I could bring that character to a conclusion was so exciting, and also like I got to work with not all of them, but so many of those amazing actors, in that scene, and that was just the best way to go out. I mean, if you're gonna go out on The Walking Dead, it should be in a river of blood. Thank you.
Thank you. Front row of Venom shirt. Hi.
Hey, you portray Oswald very well.
Thank you so much.
So the limp that you do.
The limp.
I assume that you probably do that so many times while shooting, and you
Oh,
do
yeah.
it. Does it ever carry over into your daily life? Do you ever find yourself doing it by muscle memory?
I don't know if you didn't hear it, does the limp ever transfer over to my real life? Absolutely not. The limp sucks. Like, it hurts. Like, honestly, like, they'll be like, cut, and I'll be like, oh my God. You know what I mean? But again though, I say it sucks. I'm totally joking. It's such a distinctive part of this character, and I feel so lucky because again, it's a little piece of the iconography. And it's also we got to do it in a way that it's never been done before. That it was an actual injury, that it was something that someone did to him that made him walk that way, as opposed to some sort of affectation or something. You know what I mean? I thought that was just so awesome. And again, it's just it's another piece where the next character I'm gonna play is not gonna live. So it's one less way of getting typecast, I guess. So, yeah. But no, I never, I will say it is muscle memory though. I don't think I could do the character without it, you know what I mean? It's just my foot would just naturally go that way. I think even at the table read when I'm in my regular clothes, I got my foot turned out, keep it authentic, but yeah, no, it's still been awesome.
Thank you. All right, I'm going back over here.
Green shirt, he's
okay, green shirt, hi.
Hi, it's in regards to kind of me expanding on what the gentleman talked about there. Watching you on Gotham, your delivery, awesome line.
Thank you.
But what strikes me more about Oswald isn't so much the lines, it's the nonverbal. Even with walk, we've got different paces of walk, I've noticed, depending, and that sets a tone for the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Then also because of the physical limitations of the character, how that character can be so weak in certain aspects, and so over the top vicious.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the more the nonverbal communication skills or the stuff you emote out, whether it's you're angry or whatever, where do you draw on?
Well, I really base a lot of it, and again, with the limp, I base a lot of where Oswald is coming from is someone who lives with chronic pain, and I don't personally, thank goodness, but I have people in my life who do, and I know. It's a lot to ask someone to participate or to be, fully there and present when there's always that going on in their mind. And a lot of when you touched on the hot and cold of Oswald, the way, he can change all of a sudden, it's because, again, it's like this thing that keeps coming back to him, the pain that he lives with every day, every step he takes hurts. It's it's extremely painful, and that informs so much of the personality. And again, if you think about anybody who lives with chronic pain, that's sort of what I'm drawing on with Oswald. And it's a nice way also to take the physical, to take the outside, and have it inform the inside feelings and the motivations. Yeah.
Just because the body posture and the tone of how he's moving. I think that if you take that away from that character, I don't know if you get, in my opinion, I don't think you'd get half of what you get out of the Penguin if you didn't have the nonverbal stuff coming off the face, the body, the tone, the posture. So.
I completely agree, and I'm so happy that you noticed it. Let me tell you, I'm working hard on it. Thank you, man, so much.
Thank you. All the way in the back. Yes, Dragon Ball. Yes.
Hey, yeah. I will say that I grew up watching the original Adam West series every day after school. Give it up, please. Did you ever, meeting Adam, I met Adam West.
Yeah.
He was one of the most, kind, funny, a true gentleman, with a wicked sense of humor. He honestly one of my favorite Batmans ever. So
and hearing that voice, when he,
oh my God,
because just hearing him talk to you, it's
I know, no, it's like go on, and then all of a sudden I'm on the carpet,
yeah.
The TV's on there, and I'm turning the to channel 7, and you know what I mean? I'm right back there. So yeah, anyway, but and also Adam West, the Adam West series with Burgess Meredith. I watched that when I was a child. I watched Batman Returns a million times. So those guys are always sort of been in there, I never drew on anything specific because we're telling our own story, but there is a sensibility about this character. There is, and also a sense of humor too that we really tried to bring out, especially in season 4. We wanted to show new colors of him, and he's funny, like he has a sharp mind, and so he has a sharp sense of irony and sarcasm, and so that's definitely been influenced by them. And then also in terms of the comic books, Jeff Johns, when I first got the job, sent me Penguin, Pain and Prejudice, which is where I based so much of the fact that in our version of Gotham, Penguin is coming from a bullied childhood. He was bullied relentlessly. They explore that in Pain and Prejudice, and then just in general, the sense of depravity that the character has, that Penguin has in that story, showed me okay, that's where he's going. He's going to this place where, if you've ever read it, it's gnarly. He does some really awful things that will make my Penguin look like Mary Poppins. So, but knowing that that's where he was going informed, this first sort of proto steps to becoming the supervillain that's in that story. So yeah.
So does it make you respect, sort of like when Tim Burton came along, he was a rule breaker because his Penguin was so different than what we saw with Burgess Meredith.
Absolutely.
And I look at that and I'm like, okay, that's why we need the rule breakers, people that are not treating this source material as sacrosanct, that we can actually toy with it. Because had that not happened, you might just have started out in purple with a top hat, And I love Burgess Meredith.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Do you look at that and just say, okay, it's good that was the rule, that he was breaking those rules, so I can now do this?
Look, it's because people change these stories, and this is where I get really angry at people who are very, who treat the original stories like the Bible, or something that can't be reinterpreted, or, reimagined. I should say, I don't mean to, okay, so we treat it like that is the only way that it should be. But if it weren't for people who change it, I really highly doubt that Batman would have a place in our lives to this day. It's really hard for a story to hang on for 80 years. The only way it does is that it gets reinterpreted by each subsequent generation. Everyone gets the Batman of their childhood. I look at all of us here can pick one out and be like, that was mine. You know what I mean? The one that first drew me into this world. And it's all been reimagined, and that's what gives this story legs and makes it keep going on. And we have little kids, and we have older folks, and we're all in this together. And I think that's because people break the rules. So,
yeah. Well, we only have time for one more question. Do we have any young folks out there whose hands are up that I've missed? Really young folks?
Anyone
young at heart?
Younger than 40.
Well, you're wearing a Batman shirt, so I'll end on you.
There we go.
Hi.
What's up?
Now that it's pretty much finishing, what next after?
What next after? Okay, here's my answer. Okay, we're gonna wrap sometime around mid to late November. They're gonna be like, okay, that's a series wrap on Robin Lord Taylor. We do this for everyone. We just did it yesterday for a character, I'm not gonna say who. And it's a really emotional moment because then the entire crew comes out and we applaud and we cry and we hug, and it's really an amazing moment. So they're gonna say, that's a series wrap on Robin Lord Taylor. I'm gonna lose my mind and dissolve into a puddle. And I'm gonna go upstairs, turn on the clippers, and shave my head, and that's all I want. Yeah.
And then back to blonde.
And then back to blonde, and then we'll see. And I don't know. I could only be so fortunate to play a character that has to play such a dynamic character, and that's creatively. But then to play a character that brings me into the lives of people like you guys, and to be able to meet you and thank you, and to communicate with you, and just geek out together on this stuff. It has been such a blessing. I hope it never ends. I love all of you. I can't thank you enough. I speak for my entire cast and crew. Thank you so much. Yeah.
You'll have a chance to meet him during your own weekend, right?
Well, I did today, tomorrow. I have to go to Billy Eichner's 40th birthday, so I'm sorry. On Sunday.
All right, next time bring Billy here. All right, so give it up to Robin Lord Taylor, guys.
Thank you for watching the Convention Junkies coverage of Fan Expo Canada 2018. Join the conversation below with a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see more. If you would like to help us with future projects, please visit our Patreon page.